city of Chicago, Illinois. Hey, coming in an hour earlier. I mean, I guess she's 2 hours ahead, but coming in an hour earlier.
Yeah, but they had back-to-back. They got in late, I'm sure.
Got in late. The one, the only analyst for your Sacramento Kings, TV analyst for your Sacramento Kings, Kayte Christensen. Good morning, Kayte.
Good morning, you guys.
What time did you guys get in last night, Chicago time?
Not too bad. We got to the hotel around 1:30, and I think I went to bed about 3, so it wasn't terrible.
What's the
90-minute wind down?
Yeah.
It's just getting your bags from the truck and waiting for all that stuff, yeah.
I'm going to ask an inside baseball question here. I've never asked you this before, and if I have, I've completely forgotten about it. When you're on the road, do you also still use Frasier as your go-to-bed show?
Yes, but the only place I don't do that is in Canada because they won't let me stream it.
So Kayte and I have this long-running conversation.
Yeah.
She's a huge Golden Girls fan.
Yep.
She's a huge Frasier fan.
I didn't know the Frasier part. I knew Golden Girls.
So I knew at least in the past she would say, yeah, Frasier's because a lot of us have go-to-bed shows, and Frasier was her go-to-bed show. And it'd been a long time since she'd said that, and I just didn't know if that also worked on the road or not. So good to see Kelsey Grammer still coming through.
Yeah, it's my sound machine. Yeah, for sure.
While we're speaking of that, we were just talking, Kayte, about the Skirvin in OKC, the hotel. Did you guys stay there this time?
No, we stay at the Omni now, but in the past we've stayed there a bunch.
Yeah. And aren't there stories about it that's like allegedly haunted? Do you have any stories of that being there?
Nothing like ever weird for me. I remember when DeMarcus Cousins was with the Kings, he wouldn't stay at Skirvin, so they'd have to book him a hotel across the street, like Weston or whatever it was.
He legit thought there were ghosts there. He didn't want to.
He's not the only one.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, no, he's not the only one. I mean, I never spoke to him directly about it. I just knew that he always got a room across the street. So I'm assuming that's what the problem was.
Which is funny. You would think of all the NBA places that you stay in, you would not put Oklahoma City on the list of haunted places. I would think like New Orleans or something like that would be the place you're dealing with ghosts. But hey, ghost, no ghost. Some say, watch this. Some say the Kings ghosted in the last part of the fourth quarter last night to lose. Kayte, we disagree. We want to ask you, how much of it was the Kings not executing, and how much was it Oklahoma City's the defending champions and they get paid to win games too?
Well, I mean, it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, right? I thought that the Kings did an excellent job throughout the course of the game. I mean, the feeling of it is like they weren't playing incredibly well, but they were ahead the whole game. Like there was mistakes, there was errors, but there's going to be mistakes and errors in every game. But it's about who's able to limit them and basically capitalize on mistakes of the other team. And so, kind of as the stretch of the game went on, it just I feel like the physicality raised to another level. And, like Shea hit 1-3 the whole game. It was in the final, minute or whatever it was. I in my own personal feel of the game, I haven't had time to go back and watch it to confirm yet, was just, it felt like OKC with their experience, being playoff tested is a legit benefit, and they came together, they did an excellent job, and they were able to, kind of close out down the stretch. But, overall game 4 of the season, I thought the Kings did a really good job of, kind of being there and putting themselves in a situation to win. They just weren't able to close it out. And if you look at the first 4 games, I think the biggest loss was to the Lakers, and that was a 7-point loss. So, they're close games. They're in it. They have a chance to win, and they're just, they're still figuring it out. And that's the reality. You've had 4 different starting lineups, 4 different people kind of in that spot that Keegan has vacated with his injury. And you just kind of look at it. They're certainly trying to figure out how to maneuver and how to give themselves an edge when they're not operating at 100%.
Before I forget, sorry, Jason, I just know I'll forget this question. I was watching the game last night, and I was like, I got to ask her about this. At one point, your TV partner, Mark Jones, said that somebody was holding like a rent check. And you were as amused as I was watching. Top 5 Mark Jonesism I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, it's tough because he has such great calls and like metaphors, things like that. And I feel like I just ruined them because it makes me genuinely laugh out loud. And that's got to be top 5 for me, holding him like a rent check for sure.
I think you added though, because you're like, oh, you got to hold it till the 5th. Like that was like some knowledge. Is that experience?
Waiting for the 5th.
You made him laugh.
Yeah,
actually. And the thing is, like, we know Kayte really well, and not that Kayte fake laughs, but we all have that laugh where like you're kind of like laughing along with the thing, right? And then we all do that. And then you have the laugh where like legitimately you're in, even
it tickled
if you're almost involuntarily laughing because it got you. And so much last night. And Mark says that. And then Kayte starts doing the authentic, like, you got her laugh, which made me start laughing. Yeah. And then she had the comeback, which made Mark start laughing.
It was good.
And then I think OKC hit a 3 or something. I stopped laughing. But, hey, it is what it is.
Yeah. No, you're right, Jason. I was tickled. It tickled me. It really did. It was a good one, and much needed levity at that moment because it was a tense moment.
On the 4 games you were talking about, Kayte, you're right. The Kings are basically there at the end of all 4 of these games so far, and I think it was you might have even asked the question in the post game to Doug, where he had mentioned right now they're missing the little things at winning time. If you could implement one of whatever those little things are, what would benefit this group the most in the close games to get them over the top?
Well, I think the biggest thing to me is it's about possession, right? Rebounding has been a serious issue for the Kings through the first 4 games. Obviously, the first game they didn't have Sabonis. That makes a big difference. But, this was the first game where they were actually kind of, really dominating in the rebounding column for most of the game, but the last 3 minutes of the game, they couldn't close out plays, couldn't come up with the rebound. There was the offensive rebound off a missed free throw for the Thunder that gave them another possession. To me, that's a big one, right? Is just the ability to close out possessions with the rebound and, give yourself a shot on the other end.
Well, and speaking of getting a shot on the other end, I want to remind everybody that Trevor Noah is playing the venue at Thunder Valley Friday, November 7th, and you can text right now at 916-339-1140. Today's code word. Text in the code words, and you'll be, think of it like a raffle ticket for the drawing to go see him.
Code word is rent check.
That's 2. Today's code word is Noah. N-O-A-H. Noah. Kayte Christensen joins us. Kayte, you saw the defending champions up close and personal. They, as Jason and I noted earlier, they were obviously without Chet Holmgren, also without Jalen Williams, but they had Jalen Williams. But Jason, you know who didn't play last night?
Who?
Jalen Williams.
All right, I'm confused.
But Jalen Williams played. He just came off the bench.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So anyways, they missed arguably, well, I don't even think arguably, their second and third probably best players. And they did have to come back. But what is it seeing up close? What is it about OKC that really jumps out at you where you're like, wow, they're really good at that thing?
Yeah. They're super deep, obviously. So missing guys, they're able to kind of fill slots. But the pace that they play with, the kind of relentless tenacity that they approach the game with for 48 minutes, they just keep coming at you. And they're phenomenal at attacking the paint. That is obviously a strength of theirs. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, one of the best in the league at doing that, the best, really. But, I really felt like the Kings' zone defense that they played for a large majority of the game really kind of slowed that down. But, yeah, when you're the defending champs, when you're a championship caliber team in this league, there's multiple things that you do well. And, a lot of teams struggling throughout the course of a game can't get over the hump. They kept getting close and the Kings would extend the lead. And I thought that was something that the Kings did incredibly well is they weathered storms. They would go on like a 9-point or an 11-point run, and then there'd be an 8-point run by OKC, and then they'd respond back. There was never a point where I felt like the Kings kind of, sometimes when they keep coming, you get hit. There's a point where you kind of, fold a little bit. You're tired. Just kind of the weight of the game can be too much for you. But I thought they did a great job for the majority of the game. It really was the last 3 minutes where OKC was able to turn it up another notch. And I just truly think that that's so much to do with personnel. Obviously, they have, very deep team, but they have that deep playoff run experience of, how to, just continue to find a way to bounce back, continue to find another gear. But they have just, AJ Mitchell, I'm a huge fan of that kid. Second year, he's a gaucho. That's not the only reason I'm a fan of his.
I love him too. I love this kid, Kayte.
Yeah, just watching game film, and Chet didn't play, and what he's doing this season is just absurd. Like, he is such a talented big, and the way they use him like a guard, kind of, we've seen this in the past. Like, Dirk is someone that was kind of used like a guard, operating from the perimeter. We see it with Lauri Markkanen, same thing. But, like, he attacks to me in such a, different way. He's so good off the bounce. He's so fast, like all of those things. So they just have a tremendous amount of talent, and it's all talent that it's homegrown. They've fostered it. So they're within a system. They're really all on the same page.
One thing I was watching for last night on the heels of the Lakers game was the 46 free throws and 22 by Austin Reeves. So here's SGA and OKC, and I'm thinking, oh, Kayte, man, he's going to get so many trips to the line. Well, they only had 10. He only had 2. Was part of that, did the zone protect that, or they just defend better in general yesterday?
No, I think the zone is really what helps with that. I mean, they even in the zone, they did a good job of getting to the rim. They just weren't as effective. It wasn't as, it wasn't as big of a piece of their pie. And I think, when you're in a zone and you're rotating and all of that, you're more filling spots. So it kind of took away their ability to draw the kind of contact that they normally do. So, the night before in Dallas, I think they had 68 paint points. I don't remember from the final box last night what they had, but I do, throughout the course of the game, that sense of like, okay, wow, like this zone is really kind of taking them out of kind of what a big piece of their, pie is. So, that's kind of their bread and butter, is getting to the paint and getting to the free throw line. And I think that zone was a huge deterrent.
Speaking of zone, hopefully Trevor Noah is going to be in the zone at the venue at Thunder Valley Friday, November 7th. You may recall the code word Noah that I gave out. So that was just a test, because that was yesterday's code word, Jason. I was just wanting to prepare everybody. Today's code word is daily, like as in the Daily Show, D-A-I-L-Y, daily. So text daily to 916-339 1140 for your chance to go see Trevor Noah. See, I like to prepare everybody, Kayte. Kayte, you've done this show with me before. As you know, I'm very professional when it comes to this stuff.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you really are always on your toes. It's not just like throwing mud at a wall.
No,
exactly.
Throwing mud at a wall. Oh, because it sticks. Okay, I got you. Kayte, does the media overrate back-to-backs? Chicago tonight, OKC was a back-to-back last night. I mean, look, it's here. Let me give you the take, and then you tell me why it's stupid or not. So millionaires fly in a private plane with business class lie-flat seating for an hour to Chicago, and then they get to sleep until, whatever, and they get catered food at their 5-star hotel that may or may not be haunted, and then they have to play an hour of basketball. So do we overrate it when we say it's tough, or, like, what are the legit issues with a back-to-back?
Okay, first of all, everyone has to do them. So I'll go ahead and start kind of down that road. Everyone has to do them. No one's,
Love it.
No one gets a break from them.
No excuses.
So on and so forth. Yeah, we're gonna do that. Okay. But it doesn't mean that they're not more difficult than being able to have a day off, have a practice. Like, obviously the Kings spent time preparing for OKC. They had a shoot-around, they had a practice, all geared toward that. There will be no shoot-around today. You don't have shoot-arounds on the days of back-to-backs. What you do have is we'll have a walkthrough and a film session here in the hotel. They do get to sleep in a little bit, but like I said, I went to bed at 3 o'clock last night. There's players that were up later than me 100%, because the thing is after the game, you shower, do media, grab food, and you get on the plane and you come here. But when you get to the hotel, a lot of these guys are going to the treatment room and they're receiving treatment last night. So they're getting to bed even later. So there's a lot of things that make it more difficult. And then you look at kind of the type of game you played, like last night. Like there was a point in the third quarter, and I specifically remember it with Malik and Domas. I'm like, there was moments where I'm like, okay, they're tired right now. They're gassed right now. So it's playing OKC, a team that is super fast-paced, keep coming at you. The Kings try to play at a really fast pace all the time. But you've got they're not immune from jet lag. You're a little tired. The beginning of a 4-game trip, you're coming from west to east, the time change, all this stuff impacts it and makes it where it's not just a normal game like at home on a Sunday when you come in and you've been at home for a few days. Like, no, it definitely is an added wrinkle to the schedule, but everybody has to go through it. But it doesn't mean that it's not more difficult. It doesn't mean that because you're flying on a chartered plane and all of the things that you just mentioned, like, oh, poor babies. Like, listen, I used to play in the W and we had back-to-backs and we flew commercial.
Yeah.
We were up at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
We had the first flight out.
Yep.
You're getting treatment, in our trainers. We didn't even have like all these ballrooms and things that they have, that the NBA has. I'm sure they have them now, but we would have to go to our trainer's room and get treatment, and you'd have to stagger it because there's only one trainer. There's not multiple people on the staff. So
you're eating 2-hour-old peanut butter and jelly sandwiches on the plane. None of this catered crap. Yeah,
there's a lot of things that they get, and they deserve it because it's not. I mean, listen, the NBA is a huge money making thing. The players are at the foundation of that. So they want them to have every advantage that they possibly can. It doesn't mean that the schedule doesn't offer disadvantages from time to time.
Katie, I know tonight one of the storylines I'm sure will be, DeMar DeRozan returning to Chicago, but probably more so it's going to be Zach LaVine's first time back. And when guys get traded, that's a reality. He's not the first, won't be the last, but it's like when it's in season, it's just you're gone. Like there's no goodbyes. You just go. He's been around, but what do you think that's going to be like for Zach tonight?
Yeah, I think they're going to do the kind of like a big thing to honor him. They did the same thing with DeMar when he came back last year. I know as a player, when I was drafted to Phoenix and I was there for a long time, and when I came back after I went to Chicago, it's just some players handle it well, some players don't. It's like the moment can be really big. There's a lot of emotion. Like I didn't handle it well. I was emotional, didn't have my best game, that kind of thing. But Zach was obviously here for, I think it was 7 seasons, and obviously quite a player, in part big foundation piece of this organization. So I'm sure there will be a lot of emotion, but yeah, I'm excited to see what they do for him tonight for sure.
Still a Kevin Huerter revenge game, or is that gone?
Oh, my God. Sure, Dave. Does that help your storyline if I say yeah?
Looking for things to get into, man. Let's talk about not a player. Let's talk about Doug Christie. We need to remember he's still a rookie coach, even though he was there last year, but this is his first year where it's him and his staff and his training camp and all that. He said something yesterday that's getting slapped around in the public, and I wouldn't throw a curveball at you if I didn't think he could hit it out of the park. I'm paraphrasing here, but I think he said we should be something like you could say we should be 4-0, but we're not ready to be 4-0 yet. And a lot of people are like, oh, okay, well, I should be a supermodel, but I'm not ready to be a supermodel yet. But what did Doug mean by that, in your opinion?
First of all, people really do find things to just,
what?
I don't know. I can't remember because it's been long enough since I've been on the air of what I'm allowed to say without you having to dump. But you can just imagine what I'd like to say, and we'll leave it at that. I think that's completely ridiculous that people are picking that apart. What he meant by it, and he has validity to it. It's not like they've gotten blown out in the first 4 games. They had an opportunity to win all 4 games. What he's saying is we're not meant to be 4-0 because they're not ready to be 4-0. They still are a team that there's been a massive amount of change. He's instituting a lot of new things. There's a lot of demands on them on the defensive end of the floor. They're still figuring things out, not to mention injuries, so on and so forth. But again, I'm not not making excuses. These are things that all teams have to deal with. And I'm a firm believer that adversity is what actually builds you. If things are easy, if you're always able to close out a game, and you're gonna be 4-0 right now instead of 1-4 or 1-3, it's like, okay, you're not actually building in the right way. You have to face adversity. You have to learn from your mistakes. They have to hurt. They have to be highlighted, and you have to be able to kind of take those and turn them around. So I think the point he was trying to make is they have the talent, the ability to where these 4 games could have gone a very different way. Again, they were not blown out. They weren't 20-point games. He wouldn't be saying that if they lost by 20 points in these games. He's saying they're close games, they're winnable. They're the ones responsible for the mistakes down the stretch. But those are very fixable things. They're not ready because they still got to have those lessons. Same thing as with our kids. There's lessons that they have to learn. You wish that you could kind of change things for them. It's hard to watch sometimes, but they're going to have to learn them themselves, right?
Yeah, for sure. Kayte, the bummer about the injuries, obviously out without Keegan for a while here. I really like Nate Clifford and want to see him play. These are games and they're coming, and we know he'll be back. But any update on when you think we might see the rookie back on the floor?
No, I mean, I haven't gotten any official update. He's able to participate in some things, which is great. I think when you look at types of injuries, right, it's really important how they rehab. Like any hamstring type issue, I think that there's always an abundance of caution because those can become really lingering problems in a long season. And the fact that it's happening at the beginning, I think that it's pretty clear. I mean, I hate to bring this up, but this is a perfect example of kind of why you have to do this. You look at the injury to Tyrese Halliburton last year in the playoffs, and with his calf, it's like calves and hamstrings are dangerous injuries. And yes, you probably could play through it, be uncomfortable, a little bit of pain, but it puts you at a high risk for more serious injuries if you're not careful, if you don't allow it to heal properly. And that's what happened to Tyrese last year in the playoffs, and here we are there without him for a large portion of their season, right? So, and I don't remember. You guys could probably correct me. Is he supposed to play this year? I'm not sure.
No.
If he did, it would be like end of the year. So I don't think that that's a possibility. But that's the point. I think the progressing from what I've seen, he is being able to do some on-court stuff, participating in some stuff, but not quite at the point where he's ready to return to full action.
All right, last question for Kayte. It's going to be a personal question. She's been in my thoughts lately. We joke around a lot.
That's gross.
But I've actually been thinking about her in a sympathetic way. I hope she doesn't mind me sharing. This is a tough time for her going on right now, and you would never know by watching her on the broadcast. But as she is on this road trip, she'll be on this road trip during Halloween. And anyone that knows Kayte knows that Kayte doesn't decorate for Halloween. Kayte transforms, usually spends about, I think, somewhere in the neighborhood of $150,000 to turn her entire house inside and out into basically a haunted house trick-or-treat museum. And also, let's just say her kids are in that prime Halloween age. Can't do anything about the kids, Kayte, but I want to ask you, how are you getting through this, knowing that, your second favorite time of year to decorate, you're not going to be there for?
Okay, so I'll kind of break this down. First of all, I do go way over the top. We do so much. Our front yard, our backyard, our entire house.
It's insane.
Ceilings, everything covered. Like, it is amazing. And I'll have, my husband's way better at this, at like doing videos and like whatever, piecing them together. Got to do one and just put it out, like what we actually do to our house. And you have to do it at night so you can actually see. But yes, so fun. I was able to kind of do that before I left, but this is the second straight year that I'm missing, Halloween. And so that's like one of the elements of the job that it just, as a parent, especially to young kids, it sucks that you miss some of these things. But I always try when things like this happen, like, cause we're leaving on Thanksgiving, which I'm grateful for, cause last year we were gone for Thanksgiving. I'll be there for Christmas. But, we miss a lot. We miss a lot of games. We miss a lot of school performances, holidays, all that stuff. And during the season when this stuff is happening, I just try to keep in mind that I'm really, really lucky because for half of the year, my kids are stuck with me. I don't leave. I don't go anywhere. They're, for the whole summer and, spring and going into the fall, they're stuck with me. I don't, so I just try and remember that, like that. I'm lucky to have that time, and it's worth it. Going out on the road, being gone, this job provides a lot of great things, but I will miss being there for Halloween. Well, yes.
Yeah, if there's a bright side, Smud Bill will be about 85% lower than it was when Katie is there. We appreciate it, Katie.
Yeah.
Good luck on the road trip. I don't know why I said that. You're not playing center, but you know what I mean. Good luck. Have fun.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I have to perform too, Dave. I'll take good luck. Well, I don't mind it.
I don't know. Okay, so break a leg like that, like. That's what they say for, like people in plays and stuff. Whatever it may be.
Yeah, break a vocal cord. Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
break a cord. Enjoy yourself and hurry back. We'll talk to you next week. Thank you.
All right, you guys. Have a good one.
Thanks. Bye-bye. Remember yesterday I was talking about wanting to be the Christmas guy?
Yeah.
That's her. That's who she is.
That's awesome.
It is.
A lot of work.
It takes a lot of energy.
Oh.
A lot of energy to do that. Carmichael Dave here for American Energy Heating and Air. Now, American Energy Home Pros, where you can get a free furnace. Yeah, they'll throw in a furnace with a free home installation, with an included home installation. You get the full service installation, you get the free furnace. Okay, and not to mention the fact they have some fantastic deals going on right now, but they've also got plumbing. Whether it's your shower drain, your sink, your sewer, whatever it may be, they can do it. It's all under one roof now. American Energy Home Pros. Been around since 1981. And Jason was just 35 years old. A-plus Better Business Bureau. Give him a call at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990. Or AmericanEnergyAir.com. American Energy. Making the uncomfortable comfortable. We'll take a break for Down Territory next.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple.